Hello everyone, another Narc Survivor live video. I'm on the top floor, just checked in. Another place, another city. You know how I do. But yes, let me just close the door. It's a bit noisy out there. Yes, in this one, we're going to be talking about what you can do to have the narcissist come running back to you. Because those of you who are watching this right now, yes, that may be what you'd like them to do. You went through all of these things with them. They devalued you, they put you down. They made you feel like you're nothing. Like you had no meaning or purpose to them. Like you were insignificant, beneath their consideration. They didn't pay you enough attention. They just weren't really that interested in you. And yet they moved on, and it seemed like they were so happy, so excited to find someone else. And that person was not you. But you wish it was you. You wish you were the one that they looked at with those feelings of desire. You wish you were the one who they wanted and craved. And I get that, I understand. You just want to be the one that they want. And I know at times it may seem like there's nothing you can do to get them to notice you, to get them to really want you. And the truth is, they're never really going to want you or anyone else as a person. They objectify people, they see them as objects, objects that exist to meet their needs. Which means that at times you may be overlooked, you may be mistreated. You may not be given the recognition that you feel that you deserve. But in fact, there is a way that you can have the narcissist running back to you. There is a way that you can do that. Of course, I must say, I must advise against it. I don't recommend bringing these types of people back into your life, because they will harm you. They will crush you emotionally. They will break your heart. And especially in situations where they have been abusive, where they have harmed you, you should never want someone like that back. But maybe for you, if you're watching this video, you may have just dealt with a player type narcissist, the one who is very popular socially. They may be very physically attractive. You wanted them, you desired them. You wanted nothing more than for them to want you. Even if it's just so you can reject them. So you feel like you finally got the advantage. When the reality is you will never have the advantage over them. Because they're operating from this alternate reality. This fake world that exists inside their heads. They're never going to connect to you or want you for real. But by knowing that, it can help you to avoid the emotional pain. But yes, I am going to get into it. I am going to reveal to you what you can do to have the narcissist running back to you. And it all starts by realizing this truth. Because you got to look at it like this narcissist did not target you for no reason. Of course, there was a reason why they targeted you. I mean, especially with the type of narcissist that you were dealing with. They could have had anyone. They could have had their choice of any other man or woman. So why did they pick you? What made you so special? And that is what you have to realize. Because in fact, in a way, when they targeted you, you were special to them at that time. They held you up on a pedestal. They idealized you. They had these fantasies about you inside their minds. They were thinking about you in all sorts of ways that you may not even be able to imagine. They had all of these ideas inside their heads. The problem is, and I don't want to blame you or hold you accountable, but you did not fulfill their expectations. You did not satisfy the fantasies that they had inside their heads. Because if you did, they would likely still be around. And they may have even developed an addiction to you. Because they had these fantasies about you when they targeted you. They were thinking about you in all sorts of ways. And then it gradually dwindled. It gradually faded away as they began to realize that this mental snapshot, this image that they had of you in their heads, was maybe not valid. It didn't line up with who you actually are in reality. But of course, they never accept that they've made a mistake. They look at it as though you've tricked them. You made them look like a fool. As though you displayed some false character to them. When in actuality, you didn't even know anything about it. You didn't know what they were expecting you to participate in. But that is just it, because when you're dealing with a narcissist, especially the player type of narcissist, they are expecting you to read their minds. They're expecting you to know exactly what they want when they want it, and exactly in the way that they desire it. You're meant to objectify yourself to satisfy them, is how they see it. And if you can't do that, then you have failed. You've disappointed them. And then in their minds, they just forget about you, and then it's on to the next. I know it doesn't sound nice, and I don't like to sugarcoat things, but this is just what you get when you're dealing with a narcissist. You are either exactly what they want, how they want, and when they want it, or you're nothing, you're garbage. They have no use for you, you're a lost cause. Which again is why I advise against trying to get these types of people back. Because it's never going to be about your needs. It's always going to be about how you can satisfy them. But if you do want to get them back, if you want them to come running back to you, first you have to realize that they likely have other supplies, and you need to do something that's going to make you stand out. You need to do something that other people are not willing to do. You need to objectify yourself and play out this fantasy that they imagined in their heads. You need to be their doormat, their fool, whatever they need you to be. You need to be all of that and more. And you need to be it whenever they want it and however they want it. And at times you may even need to suppress your own desires and needs and just focus on them like they're the king or the queen. Because that's just the only way that it can be with a narcissist. And even then, they're just going to see you as an object. They're not just going to have this epiphany and suddenly recognize you as someone who is a separate person with their own feelings and needs. They're never going to give you recognition. They're never going to appreciate you. That is just not going to happen. Especially with these player types of narcissists. They're very attractive. They have other sources of supply. Or even in some cases, maybe supply, sex. It doesn't even cross their minds. Maybe they're more focused on their work, their image, their reputation. And honestly, if you're dealing with someone like that, the best thing that you can do is leave them alone. Because you cannot satisfy that type of person. A sociopath, a psychopath. You're going to have a very difficult time pleasing them. You're better off just leaving them alone. But a narcissist who does have other sources of supply, with them you have a fair chance. You could seduce them, you could get them coming back. if you just be what they want, you objectify yourself to fulfill their desires, you be their doormat, their fool, even at times, maybe their punching bag. So that's what you have to do if you want them to come running back to you. But I can tell you that it isn't worth it. You deserve far better treatment. You deserve to be recognized as a separate person with your own feelings and needs. You deserve to be treated with love and respect, rather than being objectified, rather than being used like an object and then tossed aside as soon as the next thing comes along. Because there's always something better. There's always something more. And even if you manage to manipulate them in a moment, that's only going to last for a short time. And then before you know it, their mind is going to be on something else, some other fantasy. Because they get bored very easily. It is quite honestly impossible to satisfy them. And you will lose yourself trying to do that. Some of you may just end up deluding yourself into thinking that you could be everything that this person wants. Because the reality is that you are never going to make them happy. You're never going to be able to turn things around. They're not just going to wake up one day and realize that you are everything they ever needed in their lives. That you are this amazing person. And they need you, they love you, they can't live without you. They recognize you, they appreciate you. If you are dealing with a narcissist, that is never going to happen. In some extremely rare situations, as some of you may know already, yes, it does appear as though there are these self-aware narcissists. You may see them on YouTube. I haven't spoken too much about them, but these types of narcissists are extremely rare. I'm not even sure what the numbers are, but I haven't even seen any studies that suggest that any narcissist has even begun to heal or recover from their disorder. They're always self-absorbed, lacking empathy, and seeking new supply, or focusing on their false image and their reputation. That is all they're ever thinking about. And yet somehow, some narcissists, they experience a crisis. From my research, that is how it begins. They're isolated, they're left alone to themselves somehow. I mean, of course, these are extremely rare situations because we all know what narcissists are like. They are very charming and charismatic. They're generally very attractive people. So the odds of them being left alone, isolated for any moment of time, of course, that is extremely rare. But in the cases where this does somehow happen, they either go insane or they try to lash out at someone, or they may even be suicidal, or somehow they turn inwards. And it's confusing because this information kind of conflicts with what is already known about the disorder. But somehow it's like they look within, they self-reflect, there's no one around them they can blame. And the shame is eating them alive. And I would assume that in that moment they're left with two choices. It's either they just continue to focus on the shame that is coming up inside of them, or they just have to take accountability and look at themselves and assume that they did something wrong. Because otherwise, they might think if they didn't do anything wrong, then how are they alone? How are they by themselves? Because as we know, narcissists, they need supply. They can't be alone. But if in that situation, there's nothing they can do, they're completely isolated, I guess they do just turn inwards. And something happens inside of them where they do then begin the process of healing from the disorder. But again, to make it very clear, this is extremely rare. I mean, of all the narcissists in the world, there's probably not even a percentage that anyone could give of those who heal from the disorder. That's how rare it is. And the odds are that anyone who is watching my videos, you will probably never see that. I mean, it would definitely be an incredible sight to witness. In that moment, they would likely be very vulnerable. But I can't really say too much about it. Up until this point, I don't think I've done enough research on it myself. And I can't say that it's something I've ever seen or experienced in my entire life. In most situations, even when you think you're seeing that, when they come back with these epiphanies and apologies, it is still a part of the manipulation. Nothing has actually changed inside of them. I mean, most people in the world, even aside from narcissists, they tend to continue with the same personality for the rest of their lives. They don't change or improve anything significantly, and then continue with it for a sustainable amount of time. That just doesn't happen. So do not even expect that from the narcissist. And assume that, yes, they are going to be the same. Even if they do come running back to you, it is still just going to be a fantasy. It's just a dream that you share with them. It is not going to manifest into reality. No matter how bad you may want it, no matter how much you may wish that it would. And honestly, you've got to look at it like, even if they did manage to go within and self-reflect and heal from the disorder, would you even want them? Would you even be attracted to them anymore? Because by that point, the dynamic would change. We're drawn to narcissists because we're attracted to that type of personality. So if it was to change and they began to heal and love themselves for real, that might just repel you away. Unless you have healed as well. Healed people are attracted to each other, just as unhealed people are attracted to each other as well. So think about that. Even if they did change, you may just lose attraction for them unless you have healed yourself. And then I don't know about you, those of you, how far along you are on your healing journey. But at this point, and all of the time that I've spent by myself, I've had a few years now, of the last few years, where I was pretty much completely alone. And that definitely was the turning point for me. It changed everything. It's like I just became a completely different person. And then I started to research about narcissism and the disorder. And I made the YouTube channel to help people. And that's really what did it for me. It changed everything. And now all I want is to find someone else who is healed, another empath, someone who I can love, and someone who can love me. Because I know that up until this point, I have not felt loved or appreciated by anyone. I used to feel like I was not good enough. I was undeserving. But I believe that I have become a lot better now. And I can become a lot more in the future as well. I'm not perfect, but I am trying the best that I can. And that's really all that we can do. That needs to be our mission in life. Instead of constantly chasing after other people who don't even really appreciate us, they don't really care about us. Instead of doing that and getting nowhere, we do need to look within and take accountability and just become the best versions of ourselves. Because that's what will change everything. Instead of chasing people who aren't going to lead you anywhere, heal yourself. And then you will attract someone to you who does see you. Someone who does appreciate you. Someone who does love you for you. Even though you may not be perfect. You may not be everything that the narcissist wanted you to be. But you can still be everything for someone else. And that is what I advise you to do. I don't want people to go chasing after the narcissist, because by doing that, it's just like a dog chasing its tail. It's not going to go anywhere. All that's going to happen is you're going to be manipulated. You're going to be sharing this psychosis. It's going to be a shared fantasy. And it's never going to manifest into reality. So it is just a waste of your time. It is much better to invest that time into yourself. And that is exactly what I have been doing. And I have found that it has changed me on a very deep level. I'm most definitely not the same person that I was before. And I know many of you will see it. If you've watched my videos, you've seen the change in me over the past few years. I am a completely different person now to who I was back then. In the beginning, when I began the channel, I was unaware. I didn't really know who I was or what I wanted out of life. I didn't really have any purpose or direction. But things began to change when I began to look outside of myself in how I could improve other people's lives. And that's really what we need to do. We need to be of service to other people. That is what life is really about. Uplifting other people. Raising the vibes. And I never really used to think like that before. It's only really the last 3 or 4 years, maybe 5 years, Everything changed for me then. When I was about 30 years old, I just started thinking differently. And what really did that for me was being alone. When you go and you spend some time by yourself, and I don't just mean for a few days, this has to be for a long time. 6 months, 1 year. Maybe you see family or friends a few times a week, but not for too long. You spend most of your time alone developing yourself or in nature. When you do that, everything will begin to change for you. You will begin to connect to your higher powers, to a higher force, and you will find your purpose and direction. You will realize what should be more important to you, rather than just chasing these narcissists, because that is not going to lead you anywhere good. When you do that, you will notice a shift in your energy. And it's something that you will be able to change at will. You will be in complete control of your energy and emotions. You will be able to transfer it to other people and heal them as well. I'm not saying that you'll be able to heal a narcissist, but you will be able to heal certain ailments in some people. And it all comes from being alone for a long period of time, where you then connect to this higher power. It's difficult to explain or to describe in words. It's something you really have to experience for yourself. But I'm sure those of you, as I said, if you look back through my videos, you will begin to see the change in my live videos especially. It changed everything for me. I developed this emotional control. And I just became a real man when I wasn't that before. I was a boy. But now I'm strong mentally. And it all comes from not constantly reacting to the things around you. Because that's what a lot of us do. We're always in reaction to things outside of us, instead of channeling this energy from within. So when you get away from these narcissists who are always causing you to react to insignificant things, when you get away from that, you find your true power from within. And that is really what I advise you to do. Instead of chasing after the narcissist, trying to get their attention and validation, that is never going to help you. It's never going to make things better for you. You need to generate your power and energy from within, and then share it with the right people. People who are also able to give that to you. They can reciprocate value. I know it's pretty deep. Higher powers, higher forces, discovering this spiritual energy, raising the vibes. All of these things are most definitely possible. And I have noticed a shift in energy in myself. And when you have that, you have more to give. It's more beneficial for other people that you love and care about. Instead of just relying and depending on the narcissist, who, as we know, is very unreliable. You never know where they're going to be. You never know what they're going to do next. Which is why we do need to develop more control over ourselves. We do need to return to the power that we have within. And that power comes from your heart. The heart is thousands of times electromagnetically stronger than the brain. So feel it in your heart. Not so much for the narcissist, because that's not going to do too much for them. But just feel it for the world around you. If you have children or pets, and don't forget to feel it for yourself as well. I don't know what that light is in the sky. I thought it was a plane, but it has been there for a while now. It seems quite strange. I was thinking maybe it's a satellite, but it is quite cloudy, as you can see. Who knows what it is? If anyone has any ideas, let me know down below. I'm just enjoying the view. As you've probably noticed, I do enjoy a good view. I just like to be high up, far away from everything. I do enjoy being alone. It's very rare that I spend any time with anyone. And that's exactly how I like it. I just enjoy traveling, going to rural areas, working on my channel, of course. And as you can see, I'm definitely more invested in the channel these days. Spending a lot more hours on you. Every day I've always got to put another video out. It just feels good to know that I'm sharing this valuable information. And I'm helping millions of people around the world to realize their power over the narcissist. Because of course, as we know, they can't be alone. They have to get their power from us. And I know sometimes being an empath, it can feel like a curse. But just think about it like this. It's really a blessing. Imagine being emotionally dead. I mean, what is the point in living if you can't even feel anything? You're not even connected to your own emotions. You can't even connect to someone else. But for you, of course, highly sensitive, highly connected, aware, and responsive to other people. At least you can feel things. They cannot do that. And you should already know that, yes, they are completely insensitive, emotionally, physically, and mentally. They're of a low consciousness. They don't feel what you feel. Of course, you should know that by now. Because if they had any feeling at all, they would feel bad for you. They wouldn't have left you for dead. They wouldn't have left you high and dry. They wouldn't have done any of that. So just imagine that for them. How they are. How they have to live. What kind of a life is that? Where you can't even feel anything. No emotions for yourself or anyone else. I'd rather have that feeling. Even if at times it feels like a curse. At least I can feel something inside of me. And I can feel things for other people as well. And of course, as we know, that is something that a narcissist cannot do. And most of them, they're never going to be able to do that. They don't even know what they're missing. They don't even know that there is so much more to life than what they are experiencing. And most of them never will know. They might get a glimpse of the light inside of you and then try to destroy it. But that is really all they can do. That's why it triggers them. It's like it provokes them. It initiates this response, this reaction. Because I know at one point in their lives, that is exactly what they wanted. They wanted to feel good about themselves. They wanted to have some form of connection with someone. Usually it's with their parents. But they were invalidated, they were denied of that. And I look back in my life and I'm just so thankful, so grateful that I didn't have to go through that. I was loved, maybe not by my parents, but by someone else. I was given the love that I needed as a child for me to grow. And that is why when I was a child, I tended to spend a lot of time alone. And I enjoy doing that as well. Something that most children do not do. And they end up just becoming another person in the crowd. They just adopt the same ideas and beliefs as everyone else. And yet they think that it's right. When if you want to know what is really right and connect to your internal compass, all you have to do is spend a lot of your time alone. It's funny, but it makes perfect sense. If we all went away, we isolated ourselves, we spent all of our time alone for 1 year, and then we all came back, we reunited together, I'm sure we would all share the exact same values and beliefs. It's only because so many people are stuck in this society and under social conditioning that a lot of times they can't even see what is right in front of their eyes. And I know a lot of you who are watching this can relate to it. As an empath, you've probably spent a lot of your time alone. And you may feel like you just don't fit in this world. Empaths, it's like we're very different from other people. But yet, as empaths, we are all the same. I always knew I was a star. I knew I was born to lead, to motivate and inspire. I can honestly say that I knew that from the very beginning. I always knew that about myself. I wasn't really given the tools that I needed when I was younger so that I could be able to do that. But yes, I always knew that I was meant to be a leader. And I do believe as well that pretty much all empaths are meant to be leaders. So all of you who are watching this, if you identify as an empath, you are meant to be leading the people around you. You do have a duty to do that, to inspire people to be more empathic. Because it's not that everyone doesn't have any empathy at all. Even narcissists, they do have some empathy. It's mainly cognitive empathy. But any feelings that they have for you or to be there for you, it's overridden by their envy. We can't really control the people around us. You can't control another person's actions. They're going to do what they're going to do. But we can control ourselves and our emotions. We can choose to be more empathic. And that's just it. You need to have something to give something. So if you're giving empathy to other people, maybe then they will have more empathy to give to someone else. And this is my concept, this is my idea, my belief. And it's why I do what I do. I feel for the victims, I feel for you. I hope that I'm giving you what you need right now. I hope I'm giving you love, empathy, and I hope that it inspires you to give that to someone else. Because I genuinely believe that is what we're here to do. I believe that is our purpose as empaths in this life. So yeah, that's really the message that I want to finish with on this one. Give love, spread love, receive love. I think we can't go too wrong if we do that. But then, of course, be careful who you're sharing it with. Some people, you need to love them from afar. Be compassionate from a distance, or else they will suck you dry. They will drain you and impair your ability to save the people who really need you the most. Because of course they don't care about them, they only care about themselves. But yes, that's it. That's the message that I want to finish with today. We do have 85 live viewers right now. And yet, only 44 thumbs ups. Let's get those thumbs ups down below so we can share this message with other people. and support this wonderful community. And let me know what you think about this video in the comments down below. I appreciate it. I do read your comments every day. Share and subscribe. And as always, I will talk to you in another video very soon.